Most people, sober or not, do not have a life that they are proud of.
And I have the first real job I've had in years, and I have a boyfriend. I quit!
Sam, I don't think you're ready to be in a relationship.
You don't?
You shouldn't be asking me that question.
I shouldn't.
I think you should get out of here.
You do?
Please stop.
Sorry.
You're watching Black Tree on TV.
Thank y'all for allowing me this. First question: how was it shooting this season? How was the chemistry on set?
Fire.
Yeah, no, it was it was really good. We had like the Saturday nights going, or
Fridays at Lily's. Yes.
Fridays at Lily's.
Fridays at my house.
Yeah,
we played a lot of fun mind games. I remember.
Yes. There's a game called Black Magic, and I am still trying to figure it out.
Oh no!
I almost played that with a different group of people, and it did not go well.
I know you can't deal with anybody but Sofia leading it. She kept us together,
and that's how she does it on set and does it at work as well.
For sure.
She is our guiding light in every single way.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
And all of y'all play a wonderful synchronicity role and connection on set, how it plays out. Y'all's chemistry is so well put together, and that's also credited to the producers of the show. So I want to give y'all flowers before we continue. Also, I have an important question, Ms. Sasha. How is it transitioning from what you were playing in the past into this role?
As far as like roles before single drunk female, or
correct.
Yeah, no, I mean, I honestly, I find that every role, even though it may seem so different, for me, it's more about the study of, a human being. I took a lot of psychology in college, and I was just talking to someone about this earlier today, but starting off with miracle workers, this kind of anxious person and anxiety, and what does that look like, going into Uncorked and playing this woman who has it together and is really supporting her man, and then coming into other various roles and Love Life, which I loved, and being that friend who has it together, and now transitioning into Single Drunk Female, which is like, not only am I supposedly the friend who has it together, but she really does not. So it's been fun for me, if anything, like that transitioning into different roles with characters who have such different backstories is just fun for me. And with this season, Britt, goes through divorce, and she's dealing with being there, like in this newly still rehabilitated friendship with Sam, and inviting and more love and friendship between herself and Felicia. And it's lovely to be in such a female heavy project, I would say, where all of us women, while we all have our strengths, we have our weaknesses, and we're messy and we're flawed. And that's been, just honestly a blessing, if anything.
No, it is. And I was going to ask, is that self-healing and as well as playing this role? Do you find that you have to kind of dig deeper into your personal self as well, as far as healing and just overall life?
For me, I find that it's less about, while every character I've played has had some, denomination of myself or how I see things, because how could it not? I'm the person who's infusing the character with what I think or what I've researched. But I really do enjoy studying other people and trying to figure out, like, what is it that makes them tick in this way? It's like, it's truly like a mind game for me. And I go really deep into like watching documentaries and, just listening to people at restaurants. If I have my headphones in, guess what? I'm listening to your conversation. I am listening to your conversation. It's true. And I enjoy taking that and thinking, what made them say that? What made them do that? What must it feel like? Because, have I been married and going through divorce? No. But can I imagine what it's like to feel the pressure and weight of being a first generation kid, which, by the way, I am. Can I infuse that into why I might try to please everybody? Yes. And then what it might feel like to take that a step further and get married to someone to please everybody, and then have to break away and say, no, it's time for myself. Absolutely. I think a lot of people have those arcs throughout their life in different ways. And so it's just a blend of, you know, personal experience, but also mostly studying like, ooh, what could that come from? What would that look like?
Right.
Yeah. Have I thrown tampons in the toilet in real life? No. Did I want to? Yes.
And Miss LMH, your charisma, your spontaneous, your lovely big heart on set, that shows on camera. What are some moments that were challenging for you filming this season?
That's a good question. You know, we every day, I think all of us show up and want to make the work better and make the work as funny as possible, but also as grounded as possible. And I think, you know, for me, intentionally this year, I really wanted to go into it with Felicia of giving her more vulnerable dynamics than being Sam's ride or die and the person who always has the answer. And so that was a day-to-day look and a day-to-day retraining my brain of how to look at a scene and how to accomplish that. And I would say the challenge was sticking with that groundedness and still finding the comedy. And that was constantly a thing that I think we all teeter on. And what is so great about the show. And it's not an easy thing to do. You know, it's a very conscious choices in those way, in that way of, you know, wanting to still hit that vulnerable heart spot and still make you laugh with a great one-liner.
And Mr. Garrick, I have a question for you, brother. How is it not necessarily carrying the weight of the culture, but just being a Black man with being and being supported on this cast? How is it meshing? How is it? Do you feel strangled? Do you feel like you're able to kind of play that strong character that you really are, that you really instilled that are still within you? Is that able to come out?
It feels good, to be honest. Not like strangled or anything like that at all. You really do like show off your Blackness and masculinity through whatever character, you know, I play for the most part. And having a secure base of like your own Black masculinity in yourself, kind of it'll just show regardless. You don't really have to, you know, put a pin on it or a harp on it or anything like that. It's just honestly just being secure and then showing up for work, if I'm being honest. And then also they're very they're very honest as far as like the writing goes and showing that off, where it's just like having him in church and showing that side of him really does help, because I mean, I also did grow up in the church, so it was very familiar to me. Definitely sitting in a pew felt very familiar. So all of that stuff just takes you back to your Blackness in general. So you're having these set pieces and these situations to show off where you came from and who you are as a person, at your core beliefs and all of that. So definitely a point to the writing helps a lot. And then just, you know, again, showing up for work.
And a question to all of y'all: what is some advice that y'all can give to young actors, actresses out here that are trying to do the same thing, following the steps that y'all are?
Don't do it.
Don't tell him that.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
Come on. You know you want to try it.
Yeah. I think the advice I would give is knowing yourself and having a very strong life outside of your art, and having things that bring you joy and bring you fulfillment that are not just the acting part. All of that is so important for you to bring in what you can bring in front of the camera. That life experience, I think, is way more important than any class you're going to take. So really developing your life outside of the art is the biggest piece of advice I'd give to someone.
Yeah.
Agreed. I'm big on trying to find, because it's still a struggle to this day to find joy outside of the work, like can sometimes be difficult, you know, being real honest right here. Like there are times where I find myself in a little spiral and I'm like, oh wait, that's right, you're just focusing on the work, you're focusing on the work, what else is outside? And the little blinders come up and it's like, oh, that's right, there's a whole world out there that is fun to enjoy. I think for a long time, at least for me personally, when I was so tight focused on the goal, that's when it wasn't really happening. And as soon as I kind of like took off these, you know, side blinders and just started living life and not making everything so precious, is when I noticed that things started happening. And that's a huge generalization, but I really think it speaks to what Lily said about just, you know, find joy outside the work and be true to yourself and, you know, and take risks.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, thank
Yeah.
y'all so much. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna, say the exact same thing they were saying. Yeah, like you really do have to just enjoy the journey, in any way, form, or shape that you can, because honestly, you'll get to your destination and you'll be like, man, it was really fun hanging out in a crummy apartment and like just kind of like shooting the shit with your roommates or whatever. But I definitely think that you should just like every once in a while just look up and just say, hey, I'm actually like pursuing something that a lot of people don't pursue.
Man, that's great advice from all y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for your time, and man, y'all killed it this season.
You.
Continued success. Thank you.
Thank you.